Having a good day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I'm here with my good friend Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood, out of LA. How you doing today, T?
I'm good. How's everybody? Hi, boys.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm getting over. I was a little bit sick this week, as you can tell. My voice sounds a little bit weird, so I hope everybody can forgive me for that. But anyway, so Tiara, did you hear? How many of y'all? Give me a yes in the chat. First of all, let us know if you can hear us. But then, second of all, let us know. Did you hear about the beef between Mike Epps and Shannon Sharpe this week? Did you hear about it, T?
I did. I did. I heard about it. I saw the videos. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it really sounded like one guy, like Shannon was mad that it was threatening to beat up Mike. And then Mike responds by saying, I don't fight. And if I don't fight, that means basically like I might shoot you. And I was like, that escalated quickly.
It did.
What
Right?
did you
It
think?
blew up. It was like, yeah, when I'm gonna be at All Star. It's like it's a real situation happening. I think that's going over our heads. It's crazy what Cat Williams have started because this all really started from that interview, right? And he just came and dropped a bomb and then walked away, and everybody is now trying to like battling with one another. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, there's threats being made over the internet, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think it's embarrassing because both of these guys are like I think mid 50s. I know Shannon Sharp is 55. He as he calls it double nickel. And I think Mike Epps might be about what 50 53 or something like that. Um so what do you think about that? About just he's 53 years old. Yep, just like I guess. I mean, what do you think about that? I think it's a little bit embarrassing that black men we're supposed to be the role models, the OGs, all that, and just getting online and gossiping like little bitches, and then acting and then fighting like little bitches. Like I just don't like it. I think it's this weird internet clout thing, and I think it
Yeah.
feeds into this natural immaturity that is thrust on the black male culture where you there's never a point you grow up. You're gonna be
Yeah.
65 acting like a teenager.
It's
I
so
don't know how I
ridiculous.
feel about that. I'm hearing a little bit of
Yeah.
an echo, T. I don't know if you're hearing that or not.
Uh-oh. 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 Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah, I
hear me?
can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me? Can
Mhm.
you hear me? I'm sorry about
Yep.
that. Yeah, I think it's a little embarrassing for sure. Like I said, like you said, these men are 50 and over, threatening to beat each other up. They're not 20. They're not setting an example. Um, they're extremely emotional. I don't know. I saw Shannon said something like, I mean, the way even his response to Mike after that, it's just like the back and forth is immature. But it feels like that's the thing to do these days. Like that's the thing. It catches wind on the shade room, and then people are being ridiculous and fighting, and I don't know where it gets us. I don't know where it takes us, right? I don't know what we get out of that but entertainment. For us, we're watching and we're like, oh, that's kind of entertaining. But for some of us, we're just like, okay, all right, so two comedians might get together and shoot each other this week. For what? For why? What?
Yeah,
you know
one comedian and a former football player slash journalist slash gossip queen, right? I kind of think this it's interesting. And by the way, T, there we go. I might have to mute you while I'm talking, but it's okay though. If you got something to say, just go like this. But yeah, so here's what I want everybody to visualize this. First of all, give me a yes or no in the chat if you think it's a little bit silly for 50-some-year-old men to be doing this online. I personally think it's silly. I think it feeds into this the toxic side of hip hop culture mixed with the fact that our strongest black media outlet right now pretty much is like the shade room, right? So that's leading, right? So for white people, it's CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, or whatever. Which Fox News is pretty ratchet too, but still, like, and we have Shade Room. I don't know how the hell Shade Room got so big. I don't know who owns it and all that. I think I saw some people from another country owned it, and the thing is that it grew to that size, I believe, by appealing to that black immaturity that is so heavily promoted. I think that this is something that we as a community haven't really fully addressed. And I want everybody to sort of visualize it like this. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos don't like each other very much. They can't stand each other. And they made it very public that they don't like each other. Mark Zuckerberg does not like Elon Musk. Now to make the one point though, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg did talk about having a cage fight, right? And which Elon Musk backed down because he don't know Zuck ain't playing. Zuck literally is training with professional fighters, so he would have been ready for that. But you never really have heard any point. Musk is over 50, Bezos is over 50. I cannot even imagine Musk saying, "Hey, I'm going to be at the, at the wealth summit. I'm going to pull up," and then Bezos saying, "If you pull up, I'm about to pop. No, I'm a pop, nigga." You know what I mean? Like you don't. I just don't. I just would not cannot even imagine that. And I think that the question is, are black men just immature? Are we just trained to be immature? And is that something that we just embrace? Is it just that we're just different, or what? I don't know what to think about that.
That's a great question. It appears that way, right? It appears that way. Just from the way we are raised, and it takes a little longer for typically for black men to mature for different reasons. But I think adding the variable of the internet, like you said, and just this whole celebrity thing where people are being followed and being glorified for being ratchet. It's funny because you mentioned the shade room. I actually was introduced to the owner of the shade room at an event years ago. Her name is Angela, and she is Nigerian, but she's not. She didn't come over from another country. She was saying that she started the shade room as a way to just get people together and build communities. Like it almost started like just a chat room where people got together and they just talk crap, right? Like talk stuff, a topic would come up and then people would be as funny and as candid in those chat rooms. And then it grew into the shade room. But so I don't even know if this was the intention, right? For it to be what it is. But I think with Mike in particular, I'm not really sure. I definitely have met Mike Epps before, and I thought he was funny and charismatic and all the things, and I really couldn't take him seriously. So I don't even know if it's like, I don't want to say he's trying to be funny, or because he sounded very serious, but I almost wonder if it's all obviously for attention, and that's it, just to kind of go along with, to appear a certain way, or I'm not really sure. But I just think in general, people don't know how to handle their platforms when they have them, boys. Like they don't know what to do with having millions of people follow you and actually having a voice that means something.
Mm. Well, anyway, everybody who just came in, you're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my good friend Tierra KJ Williams. Tierra is the CEO of realvirtual.net, where you can go and get help for your business, whether you need support on getting started. I hope all of you want to get off the corporate plantation. If that's your goal, then you have no excuse. There's opportunities out here for you. They will work with you. They will help you come up with your idea. They'll help you get the work done. They'll even help do some of the work for you. So if you are interested in doing a free consultation with Real Virtual, just go to realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you look up my name, Boyce Watkins, on Spotify, you can find it there. And just a reminder to everybody, I am going to go to, you didn't know, T, that I'm going to LA. Did you know that? I'm going to be in LA wait, I have the date. I want to say it's April or something.
Oh,
Did you know?
okay.
Yeah, we're having a stock options summit in Los Angeles.
I'm
And
coming. I'm coming.
yeah, you should. You got to be there. You got to be there. And I got the date. See, I'm so mad at myself because I lost the date. But yeah, we're gonna be there in April. And so anybody who wants to get notified when we do the stock options summit, just text the word stock to 87948. Text stock to 87948, and I will give you the date. I want to say it's April. I'm texting the event planner to find out the LA date. But anyway, if you want to go, just so you know, we're not going to have a lot of spaces. We only have 100 seats available, so we're going to run out pretty quickly. But if you want to learn about stock options, which is a great way to make money, then text the word stock to 87948. And as soon as I get the dates and everything in the link, I will send you the link so you can get your passes early. We will sell out. We definitely going to sell out because we always do with stock options events. Okay, so let's hop back into this. Okay, so we're talking about Mike Epps and Shannon Sharpe, and the fact that these two guys decided to go at it online. I'm gonna say this to you. I really like the fact that they squashed it in public. I don't know. I doubt. I don't know. I don't care to even know or consider whether or not. Oh, it looks like I lost Tierra. I assume she's going to come back. I don't know if Mike and Shannon heard anything that I had to say about it. But the first thing I said when I saw it was I said, you two need to stop this nonsense in terms of thinking that it makes sense for you at the 50 some years old to be talking about beating each other up and shooting each other. That type of behavior is that's not a good example for young people. That makes black men look like a bunch of clowns. And you two are very powerful men. You have big platforms. Shannon Sharpe's got millions of followers now. Probably a billion views on his channel now, 500,000,000 or something. Mike Epps is Mike Epps. He's been famous for a while. Why are y'all talking like you're teenagers? If our grown men who are the age of grandfathers now, they're 55, that's grandpa age. That ain't even daddy age. That ain't even daddy. That's grandpa. So you got 50-some-year-old men who are the age of somebody's grandfather that are online in front of millions of people talking about beating each other up and shooting each other. What hope does the rest of the community have? I mean, what hope do we have to have peace in our community when the men that everybody's looking up to are all talking about beating each other up and killing each other? And here's the thing, I got Tierra back, is that there is a massive consequence. Let's say that it becomes a game of chicken, and Shannon really does pull up like he said he is, and then Mike really does respond. He brings a gun to a knife fight. Let's say Mike responds in that way, and then somebody gets hurt, somebody gets killed. People don't understand. A lot of wealth gets lost off of that because Shannon and Mike are both big enough names that they can actually create jobs for people. When you got Club Shay Shay and millions of viewers, you got a TV network you're running, basically. You're running a whole he got more views on that Cat Williams interview that Hollywood studios are envious of that number of views. Hollywood studios can't get that many views on their stuff. So when you are out here acting like this, just remember that your behavior affects a lot of people. And I don't know if we get that. I think sometimes we still think we're these little victims of racism and all that without understanding that you guys are supposed to be leaders. What do you think, T?
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I came in. Sorry about that. I don't know why it booted me out, but I agree
That's
with
okay.
you. Can you hear me, boys?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Um, yeah, it goes back to like the whole idea of rappers and just athletes and celebrities saying like, I don't care about my platform, I'm only here to entertain, and they kind of don't take accountability for themselves, right? Like I feel like that, like sometimes people don't think about what they're saying and what they're putting out into the universe. They're just there to just say anything at any given time, and not understanding that they have a platform and they can't just say anything.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think that these two guys, not only would I applaud them for squashing the beef, but I also applaud them for squashing it in public. They actually took pictures together where they showed each other, like sort of shaking hands and dapping up and everything. And I thought that was really smart and just a beautiful thing to see, because this is what I want young guys to see. I want young men, because remember, black men die at the hands of black men more than anybody else. And I hate, and I hate the fact that we act like that doesn't happen. I don't know if this irks anybody else, but I hate when people tell me black on black crime isn't real, it doesn't exist. And I'm like, no, because I know a lot of black men who were killed by other black men. Now, I don't know if you want to you can label this something else if that'll make you feel better. If your son being dead if you feel better about that because we call it something other than black on black crime, then that's what then we can do that. But I think at the same time, we got to do something about this. There is a certain element of hostility, or because think about this. I want to ask you this, T. Do you think now? Remember this. Remember anybody? Has anybody ever watched Shannon's show? You remember he was on that show with that white boy Skip Bayless? Anybody remember Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe? And Skip Bayless disrespected the shit out of Shannon Sharpe. Skip Bayless pretty much told him he was a scrub. Shannon got mad and threw his glasses on. He said, "Put your glasses back on." I don't know if do you remember that? He sunned him like a little boy. He treated him like he was a 5-year-old. And when he did that, I ain't never once, not one single time, heard Shannon Sharpe talk about he gonna run up on Skip Bayless. I'm gonna pull up. Am I lying or am I telling the truth? Has
You
anybody
ain't
ever heard
lying.
Shannon Sharpe ever threaten physical violence against Skip Bayless, nor any other white man slave master he had at ESPN or Fox Sports or wherever he was working at? Seriously, T, I don't get it. Like, we will pull up on each other in a minute. I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. Mike Epps wouldn't say that to a white man. There's no white man he would say that to. But then again, there's no
No.
white man I can think of who would say, I'm gonna pull up on you, right? So what is
Yeah.
it about how we deal with each other? It seems like when we deal with each other, we change the tone versus when we're dealing with the real oppressor and the real enemy.
I agree. Well, I just think there's a divisiveness that we have in our community, whether that was created long ago from outside, outside sources, outside plants that were, put in place to make us hate one another. But whenever that started, it's something that has not went away. It's something that has not died within our community. I think there's a lot of divisiveness between black men and black women. It's not just black on black, but it's just like for some reason we can't see ourselves as brothers and sisters. Because I believe that if a black man saw another black man as his brother, as they did before, then it would be harder to kill him, right? But for whatever reason, there's just been this narrative that that person is your enemy. And we see each other as enemies. Black men and black women see one another as enemies. They got to go to the white woman to date, because obviously we don't understand them anymore. And these are just things I've heard on the internet, but I think they play out in real life. you know um there's music that is just none of the white and none of the black music that I listen to or hip hop music is about killing a white man. It's like NIGGA, I'm gonna pull up on you and I'm gonna shoot you. Like that's just for whatever reason, like we're trained almost like they're conditioned to kill one another for whatever reason.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, I want everybody to process this for a minute. I want to do a consciousness exercise real quick. Uh, give me a yes or no. Has anybody ever heard? This is a simple question. I need a simple answer in the chat. Has anybody ever heard a song, or can anybody think about any songs where a black man has threatened to kill another black man? How many of you can think of at least let's say 5 songs? Let's pick a number like 5. How many of you could, if I asked you to name 5 rap songs where a black man was threatening to kill another black man, or said he was going to do it, or he did do it, or whatever? Anybody could give me a yes in the chat if you could think of 5 rap songs where a black man talks about murdering another black man. Okay, all right. Thank you for the yeses. Now I want to ask you another question. Then, how many of you can think of 5 songs, popular songs on the radio, where a black man has talked about killing a white man? Can anybody give me a yes or no? Can anybody think of 5 songs? There's more white men than black men. White men been killing us since slavery. So you should be able to come up with 50, right? You should be able to come up with a lot. But how many songs can you think? Can anybody think of 5 songs where a black man said, "I'm gonna shoot that cracker. I'm gonna shoot that white boy. I'm gonna find that Jew." And can anybody think of any 5 songs? Yes or no? The answer is no. You can't. You can't. You cannot. And I think it's interesting, when you talk about Shannon Sharpe's reaction to Mike Epps versus Skip Bayless, and Mike Epps kind of alluded to this a little bit. He said all these other people made fun of you. And same thing can be said about Will Smith too. Will Smith, remember Will Smith when he slapped Chris Rock? Chris Rock said the same thing about Will. He said, wait a minute. All these other people made fun of you. All these people said these things about you. All these people talked about your wife. But for some reason, you slapped me. Now, for Chris, he made the joke that you only slapped me because you could beat me up, which is probably true. But also, I would say with Shannon Sharpe, I think the question I ask you as a black man is, would you react to a white man the same way you react to the black man? And the answer is no, because we are slaves. We are controlled. I mean, if you think about this, process this for a minute. And I really hope everybody can get with me on this and understand where I'm coming from. You're the only group of people, black men are the only group in this country that are financially incentivized. There's that word financial. I'm a finance professor. Let's not forget that. We are the only group on earth that is financially incentivized to rap about murdering each other. There is no other group in America. Tell me if I'm right about this. There is no other group in this country that receives millions of dollars to promote messages that heighten your own genocide. So they did this in World War II. They did it, except Hitler would be jealous of the system they have, the brainwashing they got on some of y'all Negroes. Some of y'all Negroes are gone. Some of y'all are crazy, and then you can even go into other stuff that we've been seeing, like this stuff with, I think somebody even made the funny suggestion that they said that the sexy red stuff might be a CIA op or something like that. And and I don't know if you saw that where she had the baby and she's making a song called "Rich Baby Daddy" and her water broke, and so she's at the hospital with Drake, and so Drake is promoting this nonsense. I mean, we are in a race to the bottom culturally. Like that, this is. I mean, it's garbage culture. It's stank culture. It's embarrassing. What do you think, T?
I agree with you. It's almost like because the Sukihanas and the sexy reds are glorified for whatever reason, this food stamp culture, what Suki called herself a welfare hoe and you know, I mean, it's really, and then just the way, and remember I sent you that picture of the branding. It was like the hoodest woman in the hood or something. It was like, as if she is the epitome of what the hood looks like, and that's glorified for some reason. And the problem is people identify with that for some odd reason. There are people, but it just, I don't understand why it's so glorified. It's cool if there are hood rats that want to, they can relate to that. It's like, okay, the Sukis and sexy red should be over there, right? But for it to be commercial and mainstream and given, people look at us and be like, oh, okay, this is what Black culture is about. Like a woman twerking on a hospital bed saying, I just had my baby and I'm about to get outside. Like, it's so awful. At first I thought it was funny, but now it's really not funny. It's not funny.
Well,
It's not funny.
it kind of just I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I have no idea.
Exactly. You just don't know what to say. It's like, wow. My first
Yeah,
Suki Hana, I listened to Suki Hana my first time listening to one of her songs, and it was like, wow. Remember the song where she had the baby? She had a baby in the video, and they was like twerking, and she was like talking about like giving head or selling her body. It was unbelievable. Like, it's so unbelievable that you just be like, this has to be a parody, but it's not. And she really, at this point, is like, I'm an actress, I'm a music mogul, I'm a rapper, I sing. Like, I listened to her in an interview and was like, wow, what am I doing then? Like, if Suki is all of the things that I do in real life, then like, what am I? Because we ain't the same. It's not the same. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this is glorified. I just don't understand.
well, Suki Hana is one of a kind, and I think it's one of those things where you just you just have to observe and kind of understand what this is what they want for you, right? I mean, the
Mm,
thing is, if you don't understand basic logic like cause and effect, then this all seems fun and good, right? It's just like
yeah.
eating ice cream. If I eat ice cream and eat candy all day, why wouldn't I do that? Because I get sugar and it's fun, and it doesn't require any work. It's something I enjoy, right?
Hmm.
I have to understand cause and effect. I have to understand instant gratification versus delayed consequences, right? I have to
Hmm.
understand that if I keep eating sugar all day, I'm gonna be obese. I'm gonna get diabetes, right? I'm not gonna accomplish anything else in my life. But if
Hmm.
you are not trained to think, and this is why we do financial consciousness training every morning, guys. I want you, feel free to join us. Just go to drboycedaily.com if you'd like to join us. Every morning we do financial consciousness training because I'm really trying to train everyone to form habits that are going to put you in a better place long term, because we don't do that. We're trained to only do what sounds good, feels good in the moment, and then the consequences come. We're like, oh, woe is me. Why do you, the Lord Jesus didn't bless me?
I was just
God is
about to say, call
punishing me.
Jesus.
Jesus, oh Jesus,
Yep.
Jesus is like, you dumbass Negro. Like I told you, I warned you
I
that
told
there's
you.
consequences. We don't think that way. We're just literally trained to almost think like animals. I think that that's what they want. They want us like animals are like that. Animals don't have there's a part of your brain that actually is responsible for higher level thinking. It's called the
Mm,
prefrontal cortex. And
mm,
animals don't have that. Animals just do what feels good in the moment. If they see it and it looks good, they're gonna have sex with it. If it tastes good, they're gonna eat it. Like they're just gonna do what feels good in the moment. So I think
mm,
that media, especially stuff like BET and all that, is trained to get you to reduce your consciousness level to the point where
yeah.
you're vibrating like a fucking dog. Like you're
Yeah.
literally like a dog. You're literally doing what feels good in the moment. So then at that point, when they've reduced your consciousness, y'all let me know if you follow what I'm saying. When they reduce your consciousness to that of an animal, then you start behaving like that. You start doing what feels good in the moment because you're in this constant pain. Maybe you're in constant pain because of oppression. You're in constant pain because of your own bad choices. So because you're in this constant pain, and you know, my wife is an expert on addiction. So a lot of
Mm,
times these addictions, this addiction to drugs, this addiction to liquor, these addictions to sex, these addictions are just there to heal your pain. Addictions to food. How many times
yeah.
do you see, like I kid you not, once I learned about addiction, every time I see somebody that's just morbidly obese and can't
Yeah.
stop eating, I see addiction, I see pain, I
Yeah.
see unresolved trauma. So this
Yeah.
person's in constant pain, and what makes the pain go away temporarily? We'll put something in your mouth, eat some food. And then
Yeah.
that same person might be the same person who's doing all kinds of crazy dangerous activity in the bedroom because it feels good, because I was never loved by my father, so now I'm going to sleep with every man that moves, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff, you know, when I look at the Sukihanas and the Sexy Reds, I just see all this undiagnosed, untreated trauma that's showing itself, and they're encouraging you like, hey, don't heal yourself, don't make yourself better, just have sex with anybody that moves, take drugs, get high, get drunk, and do all these other, eat food and do whatever is going to make you feel good in the moment, and don't worry about the consequences. We'll worry about that later. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're watching it literally play out now, boys. I think, especially with social media and just even social media, I feel like has completely taken our community to a turn, like where we are only like scrolling, it's so mind numbing, and, the things that we're involved in and what we are entertained by and the things that we gravitate towards. I think if we're watching it all play out, we can see it on the internet where people flock and where they're putting their attention. Obviously, if you're putting your attention watching like a sexy red on the shade room, giving it a million, 3 million, 4 million views, they're gonna keep putting those people right in front of us so we can be like, ugh, but still like giving them that platform, you know.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we don't put good things on. We don't watch. I'm not like we don't watch good things. I'm saying like the things that should be paid attention to, we don't pay attention to.
Well, you know what?
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm paying attention to you and I'm paying attention to y'all. And those who just came in, you're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is Tierra KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. And in case you want to know what happened, we were talking about Mike Epps and him. He squashed his beef with Shannon Sharpe. And I thought that was really good. Apparently, the two had a disagreement where Mike made some pretty rough jokes about Shannon possibly being gay. I think he called him Medea's little sister or something like that. And then Shannon gets really angry, and he says he wasn't angry about the gay joke. He says he was angry because he lied about being invited onto the show. I call bullshit. I think Shannon was mad that he basically got called gay.
Yeah.
And anyway, as a result of that, he threatened to pull up on Mike Epps, and Mike Epps threatened to shoot him. Basically, he said it in code, but that's what it sounded like. And I said it was stupid. I said it's immature, it's embarrassing. Black men in their 50s should not be acting like this. And thank goodness these guys decided to get together and resolve their beef, which I think is really great. And the last point I'm gonna make on this is and before I ask everybody, if you could please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Also, Tierra has a business where she can help you get your business started. So if you're interested in doing a free consultation with her team on getting your business started or growing your business or getting people to help you out, and don't do it all by yourself, go to realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. And also, this podcast is on Spotify. And I'm going to be in LA. I found out, I got a text back, by the way. I told you guys I'm doing the Stock Option Summit in Los Angeles. The dates, write these dates down if you want to come out. Friday, April 19th, and Saturday, April 20th. So that's the 19th and the 20th. We'll be there Friday from 6 to 9, and then Saturday from 9 to 5. So if you want to join us in Los Angeles, just text the word stock to 87948, and I'll send you a link when it's ready to let you guys know. Just text stock to 87948. Okay, so I'm going to make one final point on this, and then I'll let you get back to your day because I know you're busy, and I appreciate you popping in here.
I do have a question. I do have a question as well for you.
Oh, please go ahead.
I really want to understand, and this is way off, but I want to understand how Shannon is over 50 or 55 and he still gets a little squeamish about women. I'm not saying that he's gay, but I do want to understand. Like, I don't know if you saw his response video when he was like talking to Ocho, and Ocho was like, "Yeah, if you ate, or if you ate it," or he was like, "I ain't eat nothing. I ain't suck nothing. Yeah, I don't do that. I look at it, but I don't look right." So
I remember that. That was so
yeah, I was just
weird.
like, grown ass man over 55, you better suck on something. You better do something. Like,
That
just
is
what?
hilarious. Let me play. I
So
think you know what, T? I think I got one for you. I got the clip right here.
I'm gonna
explain
put this
this
out
to
there.
me.
And this one, I'm gonna
Sorry, why don't we play the clip real quick? I'm sorry, I hit the button.
Okay,
Okay, here we
explain
go.
this to
Yeah,
me.
so I want everybody to see this and tell me if you thought the reaction was kind of weird. I know I thought it was weird too. So here it goes.
put this out there. And this one, I'm gonna fire this shot over your head, mofo, and you will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mention my name again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put the DMs. And I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
But you're lying. See, and
Yeah.
I don't care about all that other stuff. You can say I'm gay, and you can say I don't care about that because
Yeah.
I won't chase a lie, but I
Yeah.
won't let you lie on my name.
Yeah.
Now you can say all that other stuff. I can deal with that.
Mhm.
I don't look. I heard that 1,000 times.
Yes,
just
sir.
like everybody jumping in the chat talking about, oh, he don't like number white women.
Right.
I done dated a lot of different races.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you like Skittles now. You eat every color. Come on, talk to me now.
No, I don't
Keep
eat.
on.
I don't eat. Now I don't eat or suck.
You
They
know-
all
you-
do
you-
all that.
You know what I mean? That's why I
I
said
look at
Skittles.
it.
Skittles. Okay. Stay. I'm with you.
You know, I look at Ocho.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm telling you this, and I want somebody to send it to you. And I've been seeing it in the chat.
Yeah.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who you talking about,
Say-
but I'm with you.
Say my name again, and I'm gonna release DMs because you're lying.
Yeah.
You said I reached out to you to come on Club Shay Shay, and you a mofo lie. Now when I see you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see if you about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if you want to say what you've been saying on trying to get some jokes because
Yeah.
you got mad because Cat Williams did what he did. Now when I see you, I'm gonna see if you really about that.
Yeah, and then when I see you,
No.
I'm
gonna see if him talking all that.
Yeah.
When it one of them tight leather pants, trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see if you're about that.
Yeah.
Say my name again. Now be
and-
be like Destiny's Child and talk about say my name, and I got something for you.
Okay, I'm lost, but I'm with you. And whoever you talking about it, we go. What? Yeah. I'm with you.
Like I said, all that.
Okay, so Ocho's a little comedic sidekick, I guess. But you are right. Here's my theory on Shannon Sharpe and the squeamishness when it comes to women. There's always, that whenever a child is raised by their grandmother, there's usually a reason why, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the reason is for Shannon. When I try to understand people, I read their bio. I try to see what's your origin story? How did you become who you are? And I have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for Shannon and his brother Sterling. They were great football players, but I remember noticing that they were very close to their grandmother, which makes me wonder what happened with your mother. And one thing that I believe is true is that if something crazy happens with your mother, that's going to affect your relationships with women. Mm-hmm. And if you look around in our communities, one thing that we don't talk about enough is we don't talk about the fact that also 76% of Black women did not live with their fathers. So some of y'all crazy. Some of y'all don't know nothing about how to deal with no man. Some of y'all it's just true. It's not your fault. It's not, but my mother, I didn't realize until I was 50 by talking to the therapist that I've dated my mother like 3 or 4 times in my adult life. And I said, shit, like this is, but it was undeniable. I asked her one day, she's a smart lady. She's a professor. And I said, okay, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I've been spending all this money. Let me see. I don't know. It seems like I'm just doing all the talking and she's just listening, getting paid to listen to me. What kind of an idiot am I? So I said, okay, do an assessment. If you were to tell one of your fellow therapists about Boyce Watkins, what would you say? And when I tell you that this lady broke me down I mean, she chopped me. She solved me like a Rubik's cube. She had me, I mean, diced into little tiny pieces. And I said, oh my God, I understand myself so much better from hearing you describe me, because everything you said is so accurate. At that point, I never questioned again whether the therapy was worth the money. Not one single time. And one of the biggest takeaways I remember getting from that is I said, damn, I keep dating my mother. And so that means that the good things about my mother carried into my relationships, but the bad things about my mother carried into my relationships. And what's really awkward about it is that the things that we don't like about that opposite sex parent, sometimes those become the things we look for, we seek out. So ladies, I'm telling you, if 76% of y'all didn't grow up with your daddy, have an issue with your daddy, don't like your daddy, you better fix that, or you're going to keep dating your daddy until you're 50, 60, 70 years old. But then also, I would say to men and women, like, if you really want to understand somebody, ask them about their opposite sex parent. And if it starts off with him saying, I can't stand my mother, you better duck.
You better run.
He's got unresolved issues with mama that he's going to take out on you, because every woman he confronts, that's just, it's like reincarnation. He's reliving that experience with his mama over and over again. And if that issue is not resolved, this is why healing is so important. I hope everybody will hear me on this. If you heal, then you can work past it and you can move forward to the next level of existence. But if you don't heal, you're going to be stuck in that little purgatory, living the same experience over and over again. Tiara, please.
Yeah, I think that was my experience, right? I didn't grow up with my father. I didn't grow up with my parents. So I grew up with a community of my family. And obviously there was uncles and aunties and grandparents and all of that sprinkled into all of that. But it wasn't until, me being, my attachment style was avoidant. Right, I was very avoidant, and I was just like, nope, you won't get close to me. Nope. Either I'd run or I was chasing, and so that was one of the things through therapy that I had to learn. And you're absolutely right about that. Like, it kind of just creates. It doesn't allow for you to really either allow people to come in, or you're just kind of taking out whatever your issues are on other people, whether it's a mother or a father, whether it's whether you didn't have your mother or your father. So that's one of the things that I also can definitely relate to you on.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a real tough one, and much respect to those who are trying to heal. I applaud you, and I respect you immensely. So so Tiara, before we finish up, last couple quick points. Okay, so the last thing I'll say is, in terms of this beef between Shannon Sharpe and Mike Epps getting resolved, I'm super happy about it, because I feel like this is good for the culture, so to speak. I think it's good that these two guys matured up and decided to resolve the issue. And I would encourage everybody, just from a strategic standpoint, to just sort of think about it like this. If you are Shannon Sharpe, why are you beefing with Mike Epps? Why is Mike Epps beefing with Shannon Sharpe? Do you think, I'm going to do a consciousness exercise so we can understand strategy here. Why do you think Mike Epps is beefing with Shannon Sharpe? Shannon Sharpe, if another guy had said the same thing, Mike Epps would have ignored it. If it was a lesser man, Mike Epps wouldn't have said anything. He's beefing with Shannon as a sign of almost like respect. When somebody acknowledges you, that means they respect you. That means they see you. He sees Shannon Sharpe. He did not, if it were Joe Blow on the street, he wouldn't have even responded. So here's the deal. Here's what I'm saying. Shannon Sharpe is a worthy adversary to Mike Epps, and Mike Epps is a worthy adversary to Shannon Sharpe. So underneath the underbelly of this seeming animosity is a type of respect that they have for each other's visibility, power, achievements, or whatever. So in that situation, if you are unstrategic, what you'll do is you'll say, I'm going to take that mofo out. I'm going to beat him down. I'm going to hurt him more than he hurts me. And then next thing you know, everybody's hurting. Everybody, because they're going to retaliate. You're going to retaliate to their retaliation. It's going to become a mess. Millions in brand value gets destroyed because Shannon gets out here looking stupid. Mike looks stupid. Next thing you know, their multi-million-dollar brands are worth less because they've been attacking each other, right? This is what happens when you have those constant attacks. So a better strategy, if you're smart, is to say, okay, is this beef really that bad? And is it possible that I could turn this enemy into a friend? Right? So process this. I want y'all to hear me. So what if I'm Shannon Sharpe and I sit down with Mike and we sit down in a private room where there's no chit chat in our ears, no followers, no hangers on, no groupies around telling us what to do or whatever. We just talking to each other man to man. And then we walk out of this room and say, hey, we're friends. Not only are we friends, but I'm going to bring Mike Epps on Club Shay Shay next week. How many millions of views do do you think that an interview between Shannon Sharpe and Mike Epps would get if they were on Club Shay Shay together? Let me know if y'all follow what I'm saying here. This is strategy. This is grown man talk here. Like, I want everybody to understand that. If I'm advising Shannon or if I'm advising Mike, that's what I say. I say, look, hey, now everybody's looking. You got attention. I know Mike's been trying to get attention for whatever he's doing, and Shannon, the attention's a commodity. So now that you've got everybody's attention, let's create something positive that also allows you to become wealthier in the process. Now you do this interview, it gets 30 million views because everybody wants to hear you talk about your feelings and how you felt. And, well, I was mad at you because of this, mad at you because of that. And I've seen it. And the reason I've seen it is because I've lived it on a smaller scale, of course. But I don't know if you remember. You remember when Corey Holcomb, the comedian, decided that he had an issue with me? Do you remember that, T?
Yep, I do.
Okay, right. Corey's a great comedian. And I was sitting here like, oh, man, this comedian is keeps talking about me every week, and it wasn't like it bothered me that much. I've ignored things before, but I remember thinking, okay, let's figure this out. We have a mutual friend, Willie D. Willie D is a friend to both of us, and I said, so we, I started talking to him about it just to say, okay, I don't think this is really going anywhere. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to try to out funny him. I can't do that. And honestly, it's just stupid. It's immature. I'm not an immature man. I said, so why don't you talk to him? Why don't we figure this out? And Corey got on the phone, and me, Corey, and Willie were talking on three-way. And then Corey actually had the idea that we settle it and resolve it in public. And I said, that's a great idea. I would like for young people to see what it looks like for grown men to sort of figure it out. And when we got done, we were friends. And if Corey comes to Chicago, I get a backstage pass or something, and Corey is a guy that I realized, like, what, I could be his friend. We just got to put this one little thing behind us. And it does require another thing that a lot of people have a hard time with, especially if you're insecure, is it requires some level of forgiveness. But because sometimes when you get into an argument and a fight with other people, they can say things that just hurt to the core. Like Mike Epps cannot take back the fact that he called Shannon Sharpe a gay man. He can't take that back, right? And then Shannon can't take back what he said, I kind of feel like it does take it's one of those things where resolving conflicts requires what these two guys had, which is you have to have isolation to be able to do that, because you can't really have that level of forgiveness and move forward and kind of let things slide with other people in your ear saying, oh man, well, he did call you gay, man. How you go, you a punk, you a simp. How you gonna, right? All that false machismo creates conflict, right? So you need to be able to sit down in private, away from everything, and just say, okay, let's figure this out, because this me fighting you is not going to help anybody. And I don't want to do that. And I really wish all of us would be taught that at an early age, because imagine if Black men were taught conflict resolution skills at an early age. Think about how many thousands of lives will be saved as a result of that. T, I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you took all of that. I mean, that's immediately what I thought. Just having experience and a degree in public relations, I thought, like, I didn't think it was a publicity stunt, but I could see how PR could be great for this situation, and they could use it and it could benefit all of them, right? And just those basic I actually didn't know that they ended their beef. I didn't know that until we actually sat and talked. I just thought they were about to pull up on each other at All Star, and it was going to be a thing, and then that was going to be a thing. But I'm so glad. I just imagine their team saying, like, this is stupid. And I know if I was his publicist, which I'm not anyone's publicist, but if I were to be his publicist, I would definitely say, like, listen, we can't be beefing with people like this. Like, we can't do this. Doesn't look good for the brand. It looks awful. You can't, like, beef with people, other celebrities. Like, you can't tell them, like, hey, what I'm about to do. You know what I'm about to do. You can't be out here doing that. So and for Mike as well, that him saying that he's going to shoot somebody in code on the internet can't be good for Hollywood. That's not good for the brand. That's so stupid. When I watched it, I was just like, I can't believe he just said that without saying it, right? So I'm pretty sure their team also was just like, how can we pivot? I don't know if they were bright enough. The men themselves were bright enough to say without that extra motivation from their teams, because when it comes to men, ego is definitely involved, and nobody is willing to just put their ego aside, especially if these are celebrity men with followers and money and fame and all the things. It's very hard to work with people like that and get them to bring it down a notch. So I'm so glad that they were able to do that. I love what you said about young black men in conflict resolution, because I feel like and just to make it full circle with the conversation about like guns, murder, us, our black men murdering each other, I think that's the moment, right, where if they are young, then we don't get to places where people are like, man, he stepped on my shoe at a party. A few weeks ago we had to say goodbye to a really close friend of mine. Her nephew was killed because of a chicken plate dinner. It was like in the middle of a right. They just, I don't know what, if he was in line first or how it played out, but either way, it was stupid. And I feel like 99.9% of the situations are like, he died how? Oh, wait, because somebody stepped on his shoe in the club. Oh, or if you're able, sometimes when I watch or when I watch the Nipsey, even thinking about like Nipsey Hussle or just any black man that you can think of that has died for no reason, you're looking like, oh, so he said something and the guy felt played and he went to the car and got a gun and came back and shot up everything. Got it. So I really hope that for us. I really do. Or, men end up in jail for a million years, right? Because you decided to do something stupid in a split moment. So I really want that for us. I really hope that, like you said, people aren't as mature as you and don't have, you and Corey Halcomb aren't as mature to say like, you know what, this is stupid, you know, that we should talk. People don't have that because they're just too busy running off adrenaline and feeling played, and I got to do something about it because how does that look to my boys and all of that. So I really hope that for our community, and I'll end on that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I think I think that for any man that wants advice on this, and really any woman, anybody that's listening,
Hmm.
I can speak as a man just because I think men and women we are different, But
Yeah.
I've seen women, woo, buddy, when y'all fight, y'all fight. And it's almost one of those things where one rule of thumb that I have is 9 times out of 10, if I'm beefing with somebody, I always leave that door open. If they call me and are willing to apologize, I'm willing to apologize too.
Mm,
Even if there's some things that you might have said or done that are unforgivable, I'll just reconcile that some other way. But I think just
mm,
having that rule of thumb where I'm never going to get to the point where I'm so mad at you that I will never, ever, 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 ever even entertain the idea of even trying to resolve the conflict with you. It's very rare when I get to that point. Don't get me wrong. There might be some scenarios where you're like, no, you did what you did was
I was gonna
highly
say,
inappropriate. Right, right. There might be some situations where that's true, but generally speaking,
yeah,
especially with people that are in my family or my life, I might change my relationship with you. Right?
yeah,
Just because I resolved it with you does not mean we're buddy buddy. We may never
hmm,
be what we were before.
yeah,
But
exactly,
I think forgiveness is a powerful tool that I encourage everybody to develop. And it's something that has to be kind of devoid of all these other toxic attributes we carry, like ego. I think ego is just a killer. Ego will just mess you up every time. And I think
yeah,
self-respect is fine and you should have that. But there's ways to do that without necessarily being just stubborn about it. Some people are just stubborn. Some people just hold on
yeah,
to some shit. And what they don't understand too is that when you're holding on to a grudge, I want y'all to hear this. When you hold on to a grudge, that kills you. Like that
yeah,
literally,
do,
like they said it's like what they say it's like stabbing yourself and hoping the other person will die or something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
like poisoning
Something like
yourself,
that,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
poisoning,
yeah, yeah.
stabbing, same,
Yeah, it's not stabbing. It's something, right? And I just personally think anybody that wants to have a better life might want to learn those skills, but it does require you to do what these two guys did. Sometimes it requires it when you got to be in isolation. Like so, for example, let's say that my wife does something that's just unforgivable that just pisses me off to no end. And let's say it doesn't bother me so much, but when I get around my boys and I tell them, they're like, "Oh man, no, you didn't. You a simp. You let that woman do this to you. You know what I mean? Like we get that. Everybody has the peanut gallery. All these people that have no stake in the situation, and these dumbass Negroes always got something to say. All those got those stupid people. Same thing, ladies. Y'all got those single ass friends who can't keep a man for 10 minutes, telling you how to deal with the good man that you have, who really is
yeah,
trying to love you. That's not the person to get advice from, right? And so, really, when I decide with my wife what I will forgive and what I might consider unforgivable, I have to do that internally in a vacuum. I cannot do that by trying to get confirmation from my friends or from my mother or from whatever, right? My mother or my friends might say, "Oh no, I'd never forgive somebody for what she did." What? Oh no, you can't forgive that, right? And then next thing you know, I make a decision based on what they want as opposed to what I really want. Whereas really internally, maybe I'm like, okay, you cheated on me, and and I don't like it, but then maybe the good of having you around outweighs the bad. Maybe if I throw you back into the water and I got to go find a new woman or find a new wife, it's going to be harder to do that than it is to deal with a wife who might have done something inappropriate, right? And this is not an easy conversation to even have in public. I'm not. And if anybody wants to know how I really think about this, it's none of your business. But really, I really think every decision needs to be made personally. You cannot let ego or people in your ear tell you how to live your relationships. I think that's a recipe for disaster because you'll be walking around thumping your chest and having all this pride, but then deep down you're like crying on the inside because you lost something valuable. You lost a good friend, you lost a good opportunity, you gave up a good job, like even a job, like somebody's telling you, well, your boss only paying you 50,000. Oh, you worth at least 70,000. What you need to go in there and tell them about that. So you don't went and told off your boss and you lost your job, and you're mad.
You got no money.
Right now you got $0, right? So again, I just think everybody that makes those decisions, don't let anybody do it for you. And I think that with Shannon, like there's gonna be people that would probably get in Shannon's ear and say, "Man, he called you gay. Like, what kind of punk are you? Like, why would you forgive a guy who called you gay?" And I think Shannon made the right move. I think Shannon is strategic and he's intelligent. I think Mike, I don't know Mike as well. I met Mike at Willie D's thing, but I don't know him personally. But I like it. I'm done talking.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say before we go?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you just said about all of that. In those situations, like I feel like you have to know what makes you feel. If you're in a situation and somebody does you wrong, if you have any relationship and the person makes you feel like you are dying inside or like if it just doesn't feel good to your soul, right? Like if it doesn't feel good, like every time, um, I have to, let's just say let's say you did something to me and I just can't, it was so awful and on the inside, and even if I forgave you, but something about that situation just kind of like didn't sit well in a way that was a detriment to me, then I may have to, like you said, readjust the relationship. I might just have to like be like, okay, you don't have access to me, but I'm not going to harbor those feelings, right? But my rule of thumb is kind of just like, if I feel like you don't love me, if I feel like this is not a safe place, if I feel like you mean me harm, because there are people that mean that, then that's when I leave the situation altogether. But if you are here, you are a danger to me because everybody ain't good for you. But if you really, like, if it feels like literal harm and not like you're gonna stab me or literally harming me, because that could be a possibility too, but like I just know you don't love me. That's the gauge.
Yeah. I think that leads back to the age old question. If you talk about cheating, if someone cheats, can someone cheat on you and love you at the same time? And I think that's one that's heavily debatable, right, for a lot of
Yeah, we
people.
talk about that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this: I don't believe that that's the case. I think maybe it might vary based on gender. I just really think, and I think also, I'll say the thing that makes me committed to my wife is that there are things about my wife that might get on my nerves, but I know that if I go and I get with another woman, new things are going to get on my nerves. And so sometimes you'd rather have the nuisance that you know about than the nuisance that you don't know about, right? So same thing would be true for women. If you get sick of your husband and you throw your husband back in the water for some other woman, well, now you got to deal with a bunch of new men and you don't know what the hell they're bringing into your house. You're going to spend 5 years of relearning everything that you already learned about your husband. So sometimes we get tricked because we're so familiar with this flaw that they have. We've seen it so many times to the point where it pushes us over the edge, and we just say, "I got to get out of this." But then you move into new situations where you have no idea what's walking through that door. Right? It could be something good, or it could be a booby prize. And I think that's the part that I don't know if people really think about that enough. If you talk about just in terms of romantic relationships, I don't know if we really process, like, what does this mean if I push this person out of my life and I no longer have access to them and I have to start over new with somebody else. That's hard work. That takes a lot of time.
But what does it mean? What does it mean? So my biggest issue with someone cheating is that person is now like, it depends. Like, what is this, a one night stand? Did you do it on accident? Did you slip and fall into some coochie? Like, what did you do? And do you plan on like being with this woman? Is this an affair? Are you like, what
Mm.
is the situation, right? Because at this point, it's like, it's not about cheating. It's like you lying. Like you work, you
Mm.
doing workarounds. You telling your homeboys to say you was with me or you was with them. Like what level of lie are you? Because I can't trust you. Like, which means that if I can't trust you, I can't rest in you. Like I can't
Mm.
believe what you say. If you'll lie about this, you'll lie about that. If you know what I mean, how you do anything is how you do everything. So like I think for women, we just see it differently because not only is it a spiritual connection, the way we love is very emotional. We love with our emotions, with our souls and all of that. Like it's more, it's intimate, it's in there, right? With men, they can have sex with a woman and be like, all right, I'm going home to my wife who I love, see you later. It's so transactional. It's like, it's just
Yeah.
the way you guys approach it is very different. But sometimes
Mhm.
it's not. Sometimes it's like, damn, I want to leave my wife for this woman that I'm going to see on the weekends. My side chick listens to me more. Like, what's the problem? And if we can't get through that
Yeah.
problem, then it's time for us to separate.
Yeah, I think that is a tough one. I mean, I think that's really that's interesting, right? Like I think it's more like if you compare a husband to it depends on what you compare it to, right? Like if you compare a husband to what you think ideally in your mind a husband should be, I know a lot of husbands who fall short of that, right? If you have a standard in your head of what you think a husband should be, and he does not meet that standard, the question becomes, what did you base the standard on? Did you base it on something you saw in reality, or did you get that standard from a book? Did you get it from social
Movie.
media? Like, what's the standard of a husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some women get their standard of a husband from reality, from seeing their father, a real human being with real flaws, in weighing the good and the bad. And then some women got their image of a husband from fantasy, from a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that if you get your standard from a Disney movie, you're probably going to be disappointed because most people can't reach that standard of perfection. It's just like if I think that every woman is supposed to always be sweet and loving and wonderful and have a perfect body and everything else because I grew up reading about women like that in magazines, or I saw Beyonce growing up and I thought I think my woman's supposed to look like her all the time and always be sweet and gracious and kind, then I'm probably going to be disappointed in women. I'm going to think women are a bunch of lying, raggedy, evil blankety blanks. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if a woman compares her husband to some Negro she gonna meet on the street, right? Then I think that becomes a different conversation, right? Because that guy, when you're 40 and you're in, 45 or whatever, and you're in situationships with different guys who are pretty much happy with the fact that, hey, all I got to do is take you on a couple of dates and I get to sleep with you or whatever. I think that creates really tough existential questions that we don't ask ourselves. Like, if I get cancer and I need somebody to take me to the hospital, which man is going to have to do that?
Yeah.
I guess I base it on reality because I saw my mother when she had her cancer and and it was really tough. And I remember she had the colostomy bag and everything. It was pretty terrible for our family. And my father was there with her every single step of the way. And what happens when you deal with real life shit like that is she don't give a damn about whether or not he cheated when they were in their 30s or 40s. She ain't thinking about none of that. They try to get back and forth to the treatment center, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we're maximizing and choosing what to do with our lives, you have to think about all of that. You can't just think about how you feel when you're 38 years old. You got to think about how you're going to feel when you're 58, 68 years old. And that's
Yeah.
I have a cousin actually who runs um a house um where it's literally a house that is built for single black women with cancer who have nobody to take care of them. That is literally why she built
Mm.
this house, because she said there's so many women that they go through that they're not in their sexual peak anymore, then and they're in their 50s and 60s and there's nobody there. And
Mm.
again, I'm not saying that a man is an answer to all those questions, because some men ain't shit. Some men are raggedy, irresponsible, whatever. But I would
For
almost
sure.
say that if you have a man that has the value system where he says, I'm going to be there for you whenever, I don't know if I would, if I'm thinking long term about security, I don't know how quickly I would just throw that man back out into the water if he did something that I did not approve. You know, again, I'm not saying anybody should think this way. I'm just saying I think that we don't think about everything. We get into the whole ego of, oh no, you didn't cheat on me. I personally, train my mind to really understand that a woman having sex with another man has most of the time has nothing to do with me. It has to do with her attraction to that other man. But she might be attracted to me too. Not to say, now I'm not saying my wife does this thing. She doesn't. But I'm serious. Like, that's how I think about it. What you are attracted to outside of me, that don't mean I'm not still worthy. That don't mean I'm still valuable. I don't have to be 100% of everything that you want. Have you ever heard what if I was an insecure man, I would get jealous every time my wife talked about Prince. She talks about the singer Prince like that is her baby daddy. I mean, she loves Prince. She thinks he's the sexiest thing in the world. And I can't compete with that. I will never wear a thong and high heels. I cannot sing like Prince. I do not look like him. Right. So that's not my lane. That's not who I am. So I let her have that. I say, yeah. I say, wow, you really got a thing for this guy, Prince. I'm glad he wasn't trying to date you because I'd be in trouble. I'll make a joke like that. But me sitting here saying, well, how dare you talk about that other man like that? No, but no, it's just I think, and again, I'm not telling anybody what to think, but I'm saying that getting past the little stuff helps me focus on the big stuff. The big stuff for me is, if I go to the hospital and get surgery and I'm in a coma, are you going to look out for me and make sure I'm good? Which has happened. I went to the hospital. I had to go. I didn't go in a coma, but they put me under, and I was nervous. And I was like, okay, I know I got a woman that's going to be looking out for me while I'm under. That puts my wife ahead of any woman out here trying to offer me some Suki Hana coochie. I don't care about all that. I'm trying to do some grown man stuff right now. I ain't thinking about all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. I think as a community, that's another area I think we got to mature a little bit. Like it's got to be, relationships have to be more than just like, I don't know what men always like, well, you disrespecting me and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sometimes if your wife is intelligent, sometimes she's going to talk back. Sometimes she's going to do stuff you don't like. That's the nature of women. Women have habits. They just get on our fucking nerves, and that's what it is. Same thing is true, I think, on the other side, though. You see so many women who are like, I got rid of him because he cheated. And it's like, period, full stop. That's it. And I'm like, but wait a minute, you married a fucking NBA player who makes $100 million a year, and you're expecting that he's going to be completely faithful to you and only you, and somehow you interpret his lack of interest or his interest in another woman to mean somehow that he is completely null and void in your whole relationship? I feel bad for you. I just do, because I just know too many good men who have an eye, who sometimes who sometimes go a little bit astray. I'm not justifying it. You can't justify that. You can never say that this is okay, but I'm just saying that when I'm evaluating my spouse, I evaluate everything, not just one little thing that she did.
I don't know, boys. Cheating can get you AIDS. It can get you gonorrhea.
So
it can get you all the things.
Right, but so can having sex with a single person who's had sex with 5 women that week. That's the funny thing. See, one thing you got to understand is that, I'm not saying it's okay, though. I'm not saying it's okay, right? It's not okay. It's not okay. But let's go back. Let's talk about something real. LA, this is real. Kobe Bryant had sex unprotected with a lady who'd had sex with 3 other guys that week, and he met that lady 45 minutes earlier. That's what he did. That was the shocking part of the Kobe Bryant allegation that nobody talked about. Everybody's talking about whether or not he raped her. I wouldn't talk about that. I don't believe he raped her. I was like, whoa, after Magic Johnson, this dude is raw dogging women he just met, and he's raw dogging hoes. Like, this is crazy. And maybe he's done this hundreds, if not thousands of times, right? And his wife stayed married to him. Was she smart or was she stupid? I don't know. She's worth $100 million.
Right. And at the end of it,
she might have a disease.
And at the end of the day, it didn't matter, right? At the end of the day, that whole thing was a thing of the past, and they were able to get through it, and he ended up being the model man. Like, he learned his lesson because he was young at the time, because Kobe was very young. And so he learned his lesson and he kept it going. So I think, it's so funny that those are conversations. I feel like women know their men. You know the man before you marry him. You know the kind of man he's going to be. Men are kind of simple, and sometimes they're very vocal. I mean, just at dating, I've ran into men who have been like, here's what I do, here's what I don't do. I mean, now that I'm dating, I will have sex with other women until I make you the one. And I might, like I might ask my woman for a pass. Like I've heard all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh, wow. So sometimes I think women don't listen. Like you said, there's like a fairy tale in their brain, and they're like, here's my Prince Charming, and he's going to take me away, and we're going to live forever. And, that whole thing. And sometimes that's just not reality, especially if you guys are young. They were very, very young at that time. Like Kobe was like 20 or 21 or
Well, they
22 or
were
something.
young. They were young when he got married. Now, when he got accused, I want to say he was in his mid-20s, and
That's
it's
still
funny. Well, here's the funny part, right? Now we say, oh, it doesn't matter because because Kobe has this great legacy and she's got this billion-dollar empire, and I don't disagree with that statement. But here's why I'm gonna challenge you a little bit. Maybe it does matter. Maybe Vanessa had some consequences from that experience that she never told the public about. I mean, if your husband gave you HIV, would you go announce it to the public? I'm not saying that he did. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you don't know what's happening in people's marriages.
That's
And
right. That is right.
Right. And what I tell people is that, look, if you I really just think, to sum it up, that marriage is a level of intimacy that really challenges you in terms of being intimate with another person and being intimate with yourself, right? Really, it tests you on almost every level. And I think what people don't get when you don't grow up with two married parents is you don't get a real glimpse into the tough, rough realities and hard decisions that have to be made in a marital context. You get the fairy tale. Oh, we love each other. We think each other. You think I'm sexy, and when you don't think I'm sexy no more, we're gonna get a divorce. No. I mean, I saw my parents go through the ups and downs, hills and valleys of marriage, so I would just say that when people are fantasizing about it, you see it all the time. If you go to Shade Room and you hear people talk about other people's relationships, I'll be laughing because they'll be like, oh, I think they talk about Usher and Chili, right? People get caught up in these stupid celebrity relationships, and they're like, oh, well, she dumped you because you cheated, and blah, blah. I'm like, you don't know nothing about Usher. Usher may not even how many people out there don't even think Usher even really likes women like that. Like, again, I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm saying there's a lot of people who say that, right? So you're looking at this fairy tale of a relationship and you're somehow comparing it to your life. That's not real life. Celebrity relationships, half of them are fake as hell. And people don't know that. You need to find a real couple that's went through some real shit and have real conversations, and then you should decide if you want to do it. If you haven't done that, I don't even think you should get married, because you're only going to disappoint yourself. If you're a man, you're only going to be upset because you're going to find out women are not pleasant little sunflowers every day. And then if you're a woman, you're going to find out that men have a part of themselves that you can only learn when you're really intimate with a man and intimate with who he is and all his choices. And so it does require a level of toughness that most people don't have. That's why the divorce rate's so high.
Yeah, and I don't think, truthfully, now I don't think that cheating is the worst thing that could happen in a marriage. I actually think like drug addiction, and if he beating your butt, and like there's all of these, and if he's gambling your money away, and if he's lying, and like, so it's not actually the worst thing that can happen in a relationship. But it's all of those things. Imagine you're having to deal with somebody that goes through drug addiction, and walks out with your TV, and you come home and you ain't got one, and there's all of these things that are things that really don't laugh. It's real things that really happen to people. So I mean, I agree. Just know who you're marrying, child. Know who you're marrying, child.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I don't think marriage works well. And by the way, somebody's asking how they can find you on YouTube, so I'm gonna share that information in a minute, because we gotta end this conversation at some point.
I know.
But
I got to go pick up my child, boys. I got to go pick up
oh
my
well,
daughter.
okay. You know what? Let's finish up then. No,
Okay,
but you
say
are
your
right.
last.
Well, I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say
Go
this.
ahead.
I think if you get married, you shouldn't get married because you have faith in a person. I think you should get married because you have faith in an idea. And the idea has to be something that's bigger than a person. That's why I think, for example, people that believe in God and believe, stubbornly that God wants them to stay married, those people stay married longer. They fight it out.
They do.
I think if you're only getting married because you believe in a person, people will disappoint you. Right. So I stay married not because I believe that my wife is perfect. I stay married because I have a father that said when you make a commitment, you stick to it. It doesn't mean we could never get divorced. Who knows? One day that may occur. I hope it doesn't, but it can happen. But at the same time, though, what helps me get through the tough stuff is I say, no, I'm a married man. This is my wife. There's a standard I have to meet in terms of what I do. And that has nothing to do with what she's doing in the moment. She maybe she's having a day where she's being a little disrespectful, or she's not on her game the way she should be, or it doesn't look the way she did when she was 30 years old or whatever. But it's my standard internally that determines how I conduct myself, not my reaction to her behavior. Because you got a lot of people who say, I'll respect you as long as you ain't disrespecting me. Say, no, be a respectful fucking person. How about that? Just be a good person, period. Stop letting your decision or whether or not you want to be a good person or not be contingent upon whether or not you feel respected. Stop making it about you and your ego and start making it about the principle that you commit to. That's my 2 cents. That's what I believe. All right, I'm done. Thank you, T. It was great to see you. It looks like she froze on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove T, because it looks like she froze because I kept her on here for so long. But thank you guys for hanging out. I want to give you guys information on how you can stay in touch with Tierra. Her website is realvirtual.net. Her company can actually help you get your business off the ground. They can give you ideas on how to expand, create content, whatever it is you're trying to do. If you'd like to do a free consultation, it won't cost you a penny, and you want to quit your job and make more money and all this stuff, get your business going, then you can go to realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net. And also her name is Tierra KJ Williams. You can find her on Instagram and YouTube. I'm Boyce Watkins. If you'd like to get information on stocks that I like, stuff like that, just text the word stock to 87948 and I'll send you some profit alerts. And also I'm doing a stock options summit in Los Angeles, April 19th and 20th. So if you'd like to get a link to join us at the Stock Options Summit, just text the word stock to 87948. I'll send you lots of free stuff, but I'll also send you a link where you can join us in Los Angeles and stuff like that. You can also find my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, by going to drboycebooks.com or on Amazon or Audible. So take care, everybody. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, 10, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.